Before and made other videos, eating cooked starch can be possible or is permitted if you follow the Primal diet. And that's because of an adrenaline detox mostly. It can last up to a year and a half. A lesser cause would be for anxiety. Now for anxiety there's a lot of other things you can do, primarily activity. Aajonus always said you can choose activity or anxiety. If you look in your irises and you see activity rings, which are like kind of faded white dull rings around your iris, that's for every ring you have to do like a half hour of activity per day to negate any anxious tendencies. Now you can also negate these with diet. A lot of things can be very calming, like cream and honey, white meats, things like that, lots of animal fat, and that may work very well for you. It really should work for most people. If you're active, if you can keep yourself occupied, eating the right foods, the cream, the animal fat, butter, honey, white meats, you should be fine, especially if you're getting activity. If you're still having anxiety, you're going to want to make sure, and you're doing all those things, then yeah, cooked starch can probably be a good option. But I would say that even nut formula just twice a week may suffice as well, if you didn't want to go to potatoes or rice or some quality breads. But some people say incorrectly that it's just for anxiety. But as someone who's gone through a number of detoxes, and particularly one of the hardest ones, I believe, which is the adrenaline detox, where you can't sleep, totally messes up your schedule. The cooked starch is really probably necessary for that, because you can't do the nut formula every day. You can only eat so much clay in a day. The clay for some people works wonders, and that's great, but for my case I had to do cooked starches for about 2 months, 3 months, and then the clay just was sufficient. But again, this is what I'm talking about. When people don't really have others' best interests in heart, they try to take this really flawed interpretation about things, where it's actually very clear what you can and can't do, but they try to justify it into their crazy little worldview because they fried their brain. Of course, you all know who I'm talking about, and you can go back and look at his videos. The proof's in the pudding. He's always advised against it, but ever since I started putting out videos, now he's changing things because he doesn't want to look like an idiot. I've actually had to help one of the people who was paying him because he wasn't helping him at all. It was making him worse. He was very adamant about not eating cooked starches to help offset someone's adrenaline detox. But when I told him to do this and to do the clay, he's sleeping. But he was paying, this Mr. Oh, I didn't even want to say it. For, I don't know how many months and how much time and how many questions. And where did that get him? Nothing, nowhere. But he came to me, he came to my channel, I helped him out for free, and now he's sleeping and he's getting better. So I just wanted to put this video out there to remind you about cooked starches and why. If there's other people who see other videos about cooked starches, they're not really correct. Like anxiety, yeah, okay, but there's other things that are more important that cooked starch is more useful for, in my opinion. Based on my experience with anxiety, and I don't have any activity rings, and the adrenaline detox, cooked starch is very instrumental to that. And like I said, if you can't sleep, you can't heal. If you're gonna say, oh, cooked starch is bad for your health, you don't want to eat cooked starch because it's bad for your health. Not really. Yeah, there's advanced glycation end products. So what? If you're doing all the other right things, a little AGEs aren't going to hurt you. Aajonus ate half a cup of boiled rice like once a month, every 3 weeks when he was in Asia. Do you think he was like, oh no, I can't do this because of the AGEs? No, he did it because he needed to. And this is what I'm talking about too. That's another instance, was his hunger became a problem and it was causing him pain. So, it isn't just for anxiety. These people who give out advice, they don't have a full understanding of the Primal diet. They don't have a full understanding of health and nutrition. They just regurgitate what they read and they apply some of it, but they don't really have a lot of experience with it. Especially when you're taking substances which slow down healing and your overall ability to detox. If you were actually doing the diet, you would have more insight to these things because you would actually be healing and detoxing. Instead, you're not, and then you're just putting on a show for the whole world that, oh, you know, you're really just a liar. And not just that, it's at the expense of, you know, hurting people's health. You know, you putting yourself up on a pedestal, and then you know, hurting people and charging them money to give them bad advice or not helping them is really quite evil. It's not admirable, and karma's going to come around and get you. That's all I can say. You know, when you do things like that, you know, you mislead people for money, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. So just make sure you're eating enough fat with the cooked starch, sour cream and potatoes, butter and bread, butter and rice, coconut cream and rice, but you probably want some animal fat in there too. You know, so like butter and rice is really good too. I mean, you can't really go wrong. Butter, cream, sour cream. Even if you have some extra animal fat trimmings, that would be really good too. And you're gonna want to eat the starch. You're gonna want to find out a decent pattern to eat it for you. Like you may just want to do it in the afternoon. You may want to do it after your meat meals. You may want to do it multiple times a day. You know, so in the morning. You know, it depends. You may need that going through your system at all times to help absorb anything getting discharged. Or get it into your system by the nighttime so you don't have to worry about waking up too much. And you can use clay in combination with cooked starches. Again, you don't want to use more than 2 tablespoons of clay per day. You can split that up a couple times throughout the day if you want to. Again, my concern is for people, and this is here as a resource to help people who have gone through the same problems I have. It's not to necessarily make a name for myself or make a quick buck like some people. I didn't even need to show my face because my face is already out there. And it's, like I said, it's not about that. It's just about giving good information to people who need it, who are trying to better their health and take the right steps for free. It should be free. All the information is for free. You know, perfect time to do research is to take a bath and put on a Q&A. I guarantee you find some hidden gems in there that can help you.